In our last lesson, we took this image and we relit it in Adobe Camera Raw to look something like this. We made the lamp appear as though it was lit. In this lesson, we want to add a couple photos. Looks pretty easy. Let's go ahead and see how we do that. I'm going to delete this layer. We don't need that. We're going to have a few layers in this one. We're going to go File, Open. Shortcut is Control O. The first thing we're going to need is a frame. We're going to put these images in a frame, so we'll get the oval frame. I'll bring in the oval frame. We see it has a blue gradient background. We don't need that, so I'm going to go get the magic wand tool. W is a shortcut. With the 3x3 average, tolerance of 10, and the contiguous turned off, I'm going to click here, 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 and here. If you notice, we got a pretty good selection. Let's zoom in. We'll check it. Pretty tight around there. It looks pretty good. We'll take that. And I'm going to click on this lock over here on the background layer. That unlocks it. I'm going to tap the delete key, and now we have transparency. That's good. I'm going to go to select, deselect. Control D is a shortcut. Okay, so we got our frame ready. We don't have to worry about the inside because we'll cover that with another photo, which we will go get right now. Shortcut, Control O for open. Here's photo 1. I'll click on that, hold the shift key, double click. There is photo 1 coming in. There it is. We'll take the V. V is shortcut for move. We'll take that photo and drag it in to our image. Not that one. The oval frame image. And we'll put it right in the center and let go. Holy smokers. That picture's way bigger than our frame. So, but that's okay. We can reduce it. We'll transform it. We'll go to Edit, Free Transform, and the shortcut is Control T. Free Transform, Control T. Okay, and then it puts the box around it. Wow, it's way bigger. I'm going to hold the Shift key and the Alt key down. That will shrink it from the center. And then I'm going to move this back toward that. I don't know. That looks like it might work. I'll double click inside. That'll lock it down. I'm going to hit Control 0 to go full frame so we can see what we got. Now, what we want to do is cut this out so we just see the frame. So let's turn this layer off. We just want to see the inside of the frame. I'll click on the frame layer for now, and I'll hit the, I need a tool. We're going to use the elliptical marquee tool. M for marquee. I'll start in the center and start to pull out, and you can see it goes to the lower right. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and now it pulls out from the center, which is good. I'm looking at the top and the bottom. Okay, now if I need to move this down, which I do, I'm going to hold the space bar down, and I can actually move this down a little bit. I'm trying to get the top about right. I'm also going to go out for the side. So I'm trying to adjust this the best I can. Move it up a little bit. I'll make it a little smaller this way and a little wider. So somewhere in that neighborhood should work. I'll let go of the mouse, and there's our selection. If you don't have it perfect, it's not quite the way you wanted it, it's still movable, so you can still move it around. Or if you had it kind of selected a little bit more, you can go to Select, Transform Selection right there, and it puts the box around it. So if you were off, like maybe you wanted to reduce this a little bit, you can fine tune it, tweak it in, maybe up a little higher on the top, and then hit enter. It locks it in. Okay, so we have our selection for the inside the frame. What I think I'll do to this though is feather it just a little bit. Let's add a couple pixels of feather to it. That'll soften the edge, make it a little better blend when we put our photo in. We'll say okay. So now we have that selection feathered a little bit. Let's turn the photo layer back on. We'll click on that, And all we need now is to tell Photoshop just to show what's inside this. And of course we do that with a layer mask, and that's very simply done just by clicking on the layer mask icon, which is right here. Click on that. Now she's inside the frame. Well, I think she's still too big, so let's reduce the size of the picture. I'll click on the picture. Now there's a lock in between, which means the picture and the mask are locked. In this case, I don't want to change the mask. It's perfect. So I'm going to click on the lock. That'll unlock it. Now when I use the shortcut key, Control T for transform, I can hold the Shift key down, and only the picture's going to change. Thank goodness. And now I can position her the way I like her in the photo. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Okay, everything looks good. I'll just hit enter, and that'll commit that. So we got our photo ready to go into our other photo. So I'm going to hold the control key down, and that'll select both these layers. I'm going to get V for move. Actually, I'm going to click on the layer itself, not the picture, but the layer, and hopefully I'm going to get two of these. See how I got both of them? And I'm going to take it and add it to our photo. Wham. When that opens up, I'll drop it over here on this board someplace. Now they're both selected. I can move this around. If you're going to move it around, you have to have it locked like that. There we go. Position it on this wall. If you don't like the size of it, you can always hit Control T for transform. Hold the Shift key down. Make it a little bigger, a little smaller, however you want to do it. And good to go. The only thing I don't like about this one, she's facing the wrong way. So let's go back to that layer, unlock it, click on the picture, make sure it has a little box around it, hit the Control T again. I'm going to right click on the photo, and it brings up this menu, and I'm going to flip horizontal. Now she's in there. If I want to, I can rotate a little bit, position her anywhere I want. We're good to go. Hit enter. That locks it down. So there's our frame. The only thing I want to add to this frame is a drop shadow, and we do that by clicking on the frame layer and double clicking right over here. Wham wham. I double click on the drop shadow, and I clicked over here so that I could get this menu on this side. I'm going to move the light so it's coming from above. You can see where the shadow, if you click on the photo, you can actually move the shadow around so you can see wherever you want to position it. I think that'll work, and I'll say OK. So that frame is ready to go. Now we want to do two frames, so let's go highlight both these layers. I hit the Control key and clicked on the other layer. I'm going to hit Control J. Okay, now look, I got these, the original, and I got the second set. So we're ready to, so we actually got two sets of photos here. Move tool, that'd be V, and let's move this over. Same problem we had before. I forgot to lock it up, so now it's locked. Now I'm going to move it. The whole thing comes over, and I think we'll just do it right here for now. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go get our other photo, and we'll drop it in this frame. So I'm going to click on the top layer, Control O for open. We're going to go to photo 2. I'll hold the Shift key down, double click. The Shift key prevents it from going into Adobe Camera Raw. We just want to bring the photo in straight. What we want to do on this photo, which is just as big as the other one, which was way too big, we're going to go to Image, Image Size, and reduce it from 4,917 pixels to, let's say, 1,500 pixels. So in this case, we must have resample. We'll use the automatic method, and this will be a much smaller photo. Let's click OK, and Photoshop will remove lots of pixels, make our image smaller. Now we'll take that image, hit the V key. This shouldn't be so gigantic when it comes in, since we reduced the size, and we'll drop it over here someplace. Oh yeah, she's a little smaller, at least it's a little better. Now, same problem, we need a mask around here so she only shows up inside the picture frame. And there's the mask we want right there. It's from the other frame. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key, Option on a Mac, and drag it up to this layer. Now if you notice, she's inside the frame because the layer mask said only show up where it's white, and that's inside the frame. This layer, the one that's highlighted, we don't need that anymore. Let's delete it. So we're going to delete that. But let's unlock this layer and transform her back to a size that's more appropriate. Control T. Okay. I'm going to hold Shift and Alt. Kind of bring both sides down together. Get her kind of like I like her. I'm looking at her sister. See if they're about the same size, head size, you know, something like that. It would probably work. Maybe up a little bit. No. Now she's facing the wrong way. So what I want to do is right click, flip horizontal. Now she's facing in. I'm going to rotate her just a little bit. Looks like she's leaning forward a little bit better. And now I'm going to hit enter. Okay. So now we have our second frame. So let's lock it because we're going to move it. It needs to be locked. I select the control key, command on a Mac, and I got both these layers selected, and we'll just take her and hang her on this side someplace. We can put her high, low, anywhere we want. I'm just going to stick her here now. And there we go. Except the only problem is they don't look like they match the photo. They're way too good looking compared to this old grungy photo. So we need to grunge this thing up a little bit. I'm going to click on the top layer. And the way we're going to do that is go get some sand and we'll dump it on them and make them look more grungy. So Control O again for open. This time we're going to click on the sand layer. I'm going to hit Shift, double click. It brings the sand into Photoshop. And I'm going to get the Move tool, take the sand, move it into our photo. And let's do this one first. And there's our sand. Whoa. There's our sand, all right. Okay. Now again, we just want the sand to be inside the frame. So we need that mask. Okay. Inside the frame mask is this one. Remember? It's that left side photo. Hold the Alt key down. Drag the mask up to this layer. Good. Now the sand is just inside the photo. Okay. And if we want, we can click on the sand and we can actually adjust it if we want. But what we want to do now is change the mode from normal, watch this now, to soft light. And when we do, you can see that the image has grunge on it. It has that sand texture. Let's zoom in to get a better look. I'm going to tap the Z key, zoom in, there we go. I think that's a little too much texture. We can hardly see her. So I'm going to take that layer and I'm going to lower the opacity. Let's bring it down a little bit. And let's see, am I on the right? Yeah. Okay, maybe about there. Does that look about right? I don't know. That looks good. Have to do that to taste. Okay, Control 0. So we got our picture, got a little bit of grunge. Maybe now that I zoom back, I want to add a little bit more. Okay, and now let's do the same thing to the other photo. Okay, all we have to do is take the sand, copy it, Control J. Now we got two sets of sands, but they're on top of each other. Now one of the problems is that the layer mask is wrong. This is the layer mask for the left photo. We need the layer mask for the right photo, and that is this layer mask right here. So I'm going to click on that layer mask. Okay, I'm going to hold the Alt key down, Option on a Mac, and I'm going to drag this layer mask on top to this sand layer. And what that'll do, it asks me, replace layer mask? Yes. Now it's telling only let the sand show where the white part is, and that is inside this frame. So that's good. Let me move this over a little bit. So let's go get the sand and move it over, because right now, remember, the sand's on top of this photo. We need to move it over to this photo. But we have to unlock it because we do not want to move the mask. It's in the best perfect place. I'm clicking on that layer, clicked on it, hit V for move. I can go anywhere, but I'm going to go here. And now I'm moving the sand over. I'm holding the button down, dragging it over. You can't see it yet. Here it comes. Here comes the sand. It's coming in, and we can move it anywhere we want on top of her, you know, whatever you think looks good. So now she's got grunge too. So our two sand layers have added the grunge to the photo. Now the next thing we need to do to finish this off is some way to hang these photos up. They don't have any hangers, so let's go get a nail. Control O again. There's the nail. Click, double click so it doesn't go into ACR. There's the nail. V for move. Put it in there and put it right there. See how that nail kind of looks like it's holding? That's good. Control J. Now that means that we made another layer of the nail, and we're going to bring it over and stick it over here. Now this has a nail holding this one up. Okay, I'm going to hit the tab key. That'll kind of erase the menus and stuff. The toolbars, the tool panels, and let's see what we got. I think we look good to go. We got our two photos in our image. Let's hit the F key, actually twice, and then Control 0, and there's our photo. So we have our two photos in our new image. So I hope you learned something. I know there was a lot of layers and might be a little confusing, but if you watch it a few times, I think you'll learn plenty. Thanks.